it's all good because some people
That's
just don't
cool.
listen to the voice.
No, I was saying we've been in Alabama, bro, all day, man. We left at 5 a.m. and just got back. Crazy, tired as hell, and I got to go. I own a bar, right?
Yeah, I remember you told me that. Yeah.
So I got to go there tonight.
Okay.
So I'll be there until 1. Then I got to get up and go back to Alabama tomorrow. Then I got to go.
What part of Alabama?
I don't do
Birmingham.
most, but I do a lot.
Okay.
Then
and you know what?
Let's
just do this, folks. So this is the Understanding a Man podcast. And so, of course, we tend to just bring some things to you just from a certain level. And of course, I like to have some amazing guests on here. But, y'all probably heard a little commentary right there. As this man's been on the road, I'm glad I was able to grab a hold of him. We were supposed to do it last night, but it was the World Series, right?
It was.
So
it was.
Everybody was celebrating,
and we won.
Dude. I mean, and shout out to Atlanta. Shout out to the Hawks. Yep. I see the hat representing.
I had to rep. I got to rep, Elam. I got to rep, bro. I got to rep.
Dude,
we don't get too much to rep in Atlanta.
Right. And what I didn't know it had been 20 years. I didn't know it had been 20 years since because I don't follow baseball. I don't.
Yep.
I don't do that.
26 years. 26.
Wow.
I think I was like 16 or something when the last time we won.
That's crazy. Yeah, man. And so those of you who are listening, because this man got to run in a minute, so this is gonna be a short but sweet podcast. I actually have a 9 o'clock, and I asked him to borrow a couple of minutes because I was just like, oh, we might run over. But since you got to get out the door and head to some of your other establishments that you have to go with, I want to take a moment and just have you introduce yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an individual that I've known for probably about a decade, since he crossed, like within a year or two after he crossed. I think we met at like Buffalo Wild Wings. So he is a member of Kappa. Yeah, at least. So he's a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, also a part of Stone Mountain Lithonia alumni. And those of you that listened to the previous podcast, we were talking to the organizers of Kappa League, which was also a part of Stone Mountain. But here's an individual who's actually a part of the chapter as well. And just, he's an activist. He is a husband. He's a father. He's an attorney. He's, be basketball in these streets, probably still. Morehouse man or whatever. But I'm going to stop and just give you the floor. If you can just maybe just give people the elevator version of who you are, Justin, what you do in these streets.
Shoot, man. To me, I would say the first thing I am is a black man. I always start with that. I mean,
right.
Because that's one thing you never escape. You know what I mean? So I would say that I am a black man. I'm from Georgia. I moved in between Athens and Atlanta, Georgia. In my life, my dad lived in Atlanta. My mom lives in Athens. I went to Morehouse, played basketball there. Left Morehouse, went to law school, came back to Atlanta because I went to law school in New York and started practicing law. And I've been doing that for a long time.
Right.
So I worked at a law firm called Morgan & Morgan for like 10 years. I ran that firm for years. Left and went out on my own with one of my buddies, and we have been grinding ever since. Working more hours than I ever worked at Morgan & Morgan. Imagine that.
Right.
So, here we are.
That's real. You know what I just realized? I didn't say what your name was. Who are you, sir?
Oh, man. My name is Justin Miller, man.
Yes,
Justin
sir.
D. Miller. Yeah.
All right. And those of
you who might have... interesting.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go.
No, I was going to say those of you who you might have seen him on CNN dealing with the George Floyd case. I don't know, Justin, did that end the way you wanted it to, or what?
I mean, I'll say this: it didn't end horribly, but it didn't end exactly how I wanted it to end. I would have rather seen that police officer get 30 years. That was what I was looking for, but
right.
22 was okay. I would have rather seen the family get 100 million, but
right.
We got 27 or whatever, which was the biggest for a civil case involving a police officer in history. So it wasn't everything I wanted, but it was better than what I thought, because I have less faith sometimes in the justice system. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How was that to, so like you said, you were at Morgan & Morgan. I know you've been doing your thing. Saw you on a couple of billboards. I'm at the light and I look over. I see you on billboard on the bus stop. I was like, yo, I know that dude, right?
Yeah,
so,
man.
But then all of a sudden, earlier this year, you're dealing with the George Floyd case, and so, how was that? How was that going from you stepped out on faith? Your camera went out. Okay,
here we go.
You
We're
stepped
coming
out
back.
Oh no, you good. So you stepped out on faith, and then boom, like I think within like a month or two,
2 months.
Within what?
2 months.
2 months. Within 2 months, you're like on the screen, and I'm like, that's my dog. Like I know him, and he's in like one of the biggest pieces that we were dealing with. We're dealing with Black Lives Matter, with a lot of the things that really just kind of came to surface based upon camera phones and stuff like that. Because really, in my opinion, it's always been going on. But I want to get out the way of that, because I want you to just share with yourself about just moving from stepping out on faith, and then what you walked into. I mean, what was that transition? What was that like?
I mean, it was hard, man. If I'm gonna be honest, I went from my last year at Morgan & Morgan, I made over $1 million. You know what I mean? I made over $1 million there, for some years, and to leave that to go to something where there's no steady amount of money, no salary, you don't know what you're making. I mean, that's hard. I got 2 kids and a wife,
Right.
So it was very difficult. But I did it. And like you said, 2 months later, I had the biggest case in the world. And so, that's only God, that
right. That's
God.
real.
Whatever
that's
you call
serious.
God, that's God. You know what I mean?
Right. What gave you the?
I believe it.
No, go ahead.
No, I said, and I believe that's what it was. I know that's the only thing it could have been.
I mean, so let's just back that up, because you got people who they, try to step out on faith because, and let's just keep it real. You're working a job, or you're broke, and broke from a financial perspective, right? And you're looking to and you're just like, okay, let me strike out and do this, right? Some people did that during the COVID phase, but here you are, because that pain makes people want to move into something else, right? But here you are, you said you were making $1 million a year, and then you want to step away from that and go out on faith. I mean, we know what the aftermath looked like, but can you give me a piece of if you had to share just really quickly with the public, what type of faith is that to walk out on top and then keep it moving? What does that look like?
Well, it's because, Elam, I didn't think I was on top. I didn't feel like I was on top. I felt like I was working like a dog for somebody else. So if I was making $1 million a year and this guy's making $30 million a year off of me, then he's on top. I'm on the bottom. It's just relative. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I knew that what I was doing for him, I could replicate for myself. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I could do the same thing for myself. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to try it. You can always go back to something, but you don't get many chances to try something. So I was like, let me just go out, see if I can do it. And it's been,
I think you more than did it, but I mean,
yeah, but it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been an easy thing. And I work harder, like I said, now than I ever did before, but it's also smarter. I used to get up in the morning and work out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I would be in the office at 8 in the morning. Yeah. Right. I would be fully suited up every single day. I would work until 7, 8, sometimes 9, and I would get home and I would be tired and I wouldn't have time to really pour into my kids. And it was just bad. And I feel like, let's just say I never got back to what the amount of money I was making. Okay. The peace of mind and the freedom that I have now is worth just as much as money, or if not more. I probably more. So luckily I've been good and I've been able to make money and I'm doing very well. But the peace of mind is what I was really looking for, and I got it, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm loving it.
Let me ask you, and I think you kind of just answered it before we get into maybe like what would probably be the last question, but I want to kind of move forward into just this in that space right there. You said that you're a father, right? You're a husband, right? And you're an employee, right? Okay, so and then you're like mainstream and just shaking and rocking and doing. How did you balance your work life when you're out here shooting for a case that it could be 100 million, but it's just a low 27 million, right? Okay. So,
Yeah.
and I say that tongue in cheek or whatever, but to fight in that capacity and to win the way that you did, but there was some long nights. There was some absenteeism. There was some mental pull. Like, how did you balance that during that time?
Well, that one was easy. George Floyd was easy because that is for everybody. That's not just for me. And so when we get cases like that, and we have Rashard Brooks' case, and we're working on Ahmaud Arbery's case, and we had Alton Sterling's case that we settled a few months ago. I mean, we have a lot of different stuff like this. Those cases are not just for me or for my partner Chris. They are for all of us and our kids and our family. So it's easy. It's like, yo, listen, we got to go out and do something. It's like you're doing it you got everybody behind you and everybody's pushing you, and that's how you feel. And so we would walk down the street and people would just be like, yo, appreciate it. Keep going. Keep going. Even today, people are just like, yo, keep going. You know what I mean? So it gives you energy. You know what I'm saying? And so I think without that, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But with that, it's easy. It makes it just easy, like breathing.
Did you see any of this, like, like, okay, so growing up or, or a couple of years ago or whatever, was there some forecast that existed there? Did you, and I mean, just keep it real. If it wasn't, like, for example, I'm in the relationship space. I never saw this. I didn't see none of it, right? But I'm loving where God has placed me in, right? I know there's a God because of what I walk in, because I'm like, yo, like, this was not it, but I see what you did, right?
Right.
What you're doing right now, did you see this? Did you see a little bit of it? Or is it just kind of like, yo, this is just God just doing his thing? Like, and it could be a combination of all of it, but
no, I kind of knew. You know what I mean? I just knew that I always have known this in my life at different places in my life, that I am supposed to be doing something greater than whatever I'm doing. Okay. Regardless of how great it is, I'm supposed to be doing something greater, something bigger. And so I feel like when you know yourself, you will, it's like an internal thing that will tell you that, like, listen, this is not where you're supposed to be. And then you start moving, and you just got to get moving, and you got to figure out where you need to go, and you can't stay stagnant in the same place. And I get like that sometimes, and then I start moving. And so I was getting like that at Morgan & Morgan, and I realized that's what it was. It's just time to go. And we sometimes when you're making $40,000, right, you want to make 100. Right. When you make 100, you want to make 2, and then and then so on and so forth. That's real. And then you get to $1 million, and people are like, yo, if I make $1 million, I'm straight. But you get to $1 million, you want to make 2 million. Right. 3. It never stops. That's word. And so I stopped letting the money guide me and dictate how I wanted to do it a long time ago. And I just let my soul guide me. Like I was like, yo, listen, what are the things you really want? Freedom, time with the kids, being able to raise them and get to know them. Because in COVID, I learned that I didn't even know my kids, bro. I didn't even know them. Like, I would walk down the street with them. We just walk down the street, and they would be telling me stuff. And I'm like, dang, I didn't even know who you were. You're like a whole little human. You know what I mean? And now I know them. Their personality is just different.
Gosh, you want to have, I could go for an hour on this one. That part right there about the COVID, we're gonna post that for a second, because that's a whole conversation. And
I'll come back.
Said, the 40 to the 100,000 to the million, then you want 2 million or whatever. And so this is for me right now. This is how I know that I'm moving into another space, because I have people around me that talk like you. And so the power of the inner circle is so big, to whereas I'm blessed enough to have people in my inner circle that start saying that you don't think about the money, right? And I think that for those that are not in that space, they might feel like, ooh, if I got to that, then, you know, I would be straight. And so it sounds like, I don't want to put words in your mouth. It sounds like it's more about, you know, the purpose. It sounds like it's more about, you know, the impact that you can make. It sounds like more about, you know, what can you put your hands in and to work towards versus the money. Can you expand on that really quickly for those that might be like, $1 million? Is you crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's definitely that. What I think about Elam all the time is this right here. You only have so much time on this earth, and none of us know how much time we have. So if I sat in an office and just grinded out doing something that was not fulfilling year in and year out just because I was making $1 million, I would feel like I'm wasting my life.
Right.
And so during that time, like I said, I was missing ball games and gymnastics, and, you know, I didn't get to go on this date, or I was not this vacation. And, you know, I just didn't have time, and I placed other things over my peace of mind and the time that I was spending with my kids. It's like the other day I took my son to the World Series game, right?
Okay.
One of the games we won in Atlanta, I took my son, and he's a big baseball kid. He's 11 years old. And so as we're there, he's enjoying the game. It's his first, you know, he's been in the Braves game, but this was a big, humongous game, World Series. He loved the Braves. And something happened. We hit a home run or something. And I just looked at him. He was like tearing up. And I was just like, man, this is it. This is why you do it. This is what it is.
Wow.
Right here. And that was the most amazing thing to me. And so that is what I want out of my life, though. I want those experiences with people that I love. I want those experiences with new people that I meet, because I love meeting new people. I want those experiences for myself, doing the things that I enjoy doing. And I know that the money is not so important. The money will come if you're good at what you do. The money's going to come. You don't have to sweat the money, but you have to make sure you're spending your greatest currency, which is your time, the right way.
So, man, that is for you to share that information regarding, you know, when you said earlier that you were rediscovering your sons during rediscovering your kids during COVID, because you have 2 kids, right?
Yep, son and daughter.
So you were just rediscovering them during COVID. Talk to me about, you know, your feeling in that regard, from the discover that you didn't know them to what it looks like now. And you kind of just gave a great example of what it looks like now for the World Series. But go back real quick. How did that feeling of, oh my goodness, you know, and what are their ages?
11 and 8.
11 and 8. So very much in discovery mode, right?
Man, they're humans. They're humans. We don't think of our kids as humans. We just think of them as our kids for the most part until they get, you know, a lot older. And so I didn't really know what they liked. I didn't know that they had these personalities. I didn't know that my daughter was like exactly like me, just a female. We're the same person. I didn't know. My son has some traits of me, but he's like a whole different guy. And, you know, I had to get to know him. You know what I mean? I had to get to know him. And so beforehand, I did not put the time in. I was there and I live at home and I talk to him, but I did not put the time in to really get to know them. And so now they'll even tell you, like, my relationship with both of them is much different and much better. And I feel like we're all going to be better for it, because, you know, that's what's most important. When you leave this earth, the reason we're here is not to make $1 million or 10 million or 100 million. The reason we're here is to leave something, you know what I mean? To impact Earth in a great way. And so you don't have to be the president of the United States to do that. You could just leave 2 great kids on this planet that are going to push forward and do something great and move the human race in a good direction. I know that sounds cliche, but that's how I feel.
That's awesome, man.
Man.
Oh.
And I don't talk to people about this type of stuff all the time, because people don't really want to talk about this, but this is how I feel. And so this is how I live my life, you know?
No, that's so you're actually a part of my next upcoming book, Understanding a Man, Memoirs of a Father to a Son. It's currently in editing. So Justin dropped probably it's 14 chapters that My editor might cut it down to like 12. I think she's going to cut it down, but you drop gems on every single one, and you're actually repeating some of the stuff that you said actually on there. So I know that it's genuine from what you're saying. So that's been my thought process of even with this book, to just touch individuals that, and I'm going to be just the one that just keeps repeating it. But then here's Justin out here fighting and doing what he do inside, and you're repeating the same thing. And if we all continue to do that in our own little way, it doesn't have to be that you got to go make $1 million. Go make your 40 and be the best 40 that you can be, right? And then something else might pop or whatever. Be the best 500,000 air, to be the best 10,000 air, whatever.
There it is. You know there it is. Love your life. Love your life. What J. Cole, one of my favorite songs, not my favorite, one of my favorite songs is J. Cole, Love Yours. And he just talks about exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
You get up, when we get off, just listen to that song and listen to what he's saying. I mean, he's literally talking about what we're talking about. It's like, listen, everybody's life is going to be different, but you only get one. So you have to enjoy it. And if you're not enjoying it, you have to make those changes to make your life enjoyable for you. Because when you die, you're going to go in the ground by yourself. And what you leave on this earth is just a legacy. And that could be your kids. That could be an impact. That could be, like you said, you talked to, I guess you talked to Harold and Mike Rucker.
Well, Harold wasn't on there, but Rucker and Ben were on the Kappa League call that I had. It hasn't posted yet, but it's going to post, and then this one's going to post. So I had, Kappa back to back.
Yeah, but lovely. So think about what they're doing. Like, that is impacting people's lives. I remember when I was in high school, there was a guy kind of like what Rucker is right now to a lot of kids. A guy, these kids are going to remember him forever as a person who made an impact in a positive way on their life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that is a contribution to the human race. That's a contribution to the world. And when he dies, he has made a contribution. He's touched all these people's lives. And some people don't really think about it that way because it's not on TV, on CNN, right?
Right.
But to me, it's all the same. It's just my lane is TV and doing this and doing that. His lane is Kappa League, and doing that.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing because that's how things get done. It's like a team sport, right? Everybody can't be the pitcher. Somebody has to be the first baseman, catcher, center field or whatever. And so I love it, man. I think it's great. And I'm enjoying my life way more now than I was ever enjoying it before.
One of the things that you just said, and it's just so key of how I can't get the exact quote from Martin Luther King, but he made a quote regarding how we're really all connected. And so when you just said that we're like a big team, I immediately thought, okay, you over there doing the lawyer thing, right? Rutgers over there doing the mentor thing and the teacher thing, because you're doing the mentor thing and the bar thing and the dad thing and let's go to the work, right? To the attorney thing, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm over here relationship thing, right? Dad thing, right? Everybody's do your part to the best of your ability. I'm not going to look over into. I like the phrase that you say, your lane. I'm not looking over in Justin's lane. I'm not built for Justin's lane. I don't want Justin's lane. And so you shouldn't even want somebody else's lane. You should only want your own lane, because the level of satisfaction that you got when that case closed, I was happy for you.
Yeah.
But I can understand that feeling, because when a couple says, thank you so much, we haven't made love in 6 months, and because of you, now we're able to do that. That means the same to me as you winning the case that was on the stage in front of the whole world.
That means you found your purpose. That's what it means. That's what it means.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, that is a beautiful thing. That is the key to life, in my opinion, is finding your purpose. And you could have several. You might have 10 things that would be your purpose. But if you find one of those things and you get inside of it and you excel at it, it's the best. It's like you can't beat it. And so what I do, I try to be involved in as many of those things as possible in my life. So my kids and my like I own a bar, and we're gonna get another one, and I like doing that. I enjoy opening them up and running them and doing that work. And then I enjoy helping people with the law, and I enjoy being a lawyer, and I enjoy, I enjoy playing basketball with old men. You know what I mean? Like, this is where you just have to find the things you love. And I think people sometimes forget that because the pursuit of money takes over. And it's just not as important. People will see things that you have and think that, this has to be great because this person has things. But I'm like, the great part is if that person is happy and enjoying their life and doing what they want to do, that's the great part. The money is good and it's just a good thing, but it's really fake. It's like a construct. I mean, we put too much, you know what I mean?
And I want to take this a step further because not only are we just saying this, but I'm going to go back for a minute to a week ago, right? And I'm going to read something to you that you wrote on Facebook, if you will. And I just want to ask you this. So in the spirit of, of just what you're saying about just helping people, you said on Facebook, October 26th at 10:08 a.m. You said, so this early in the morning, you was thinking, you was going in early.
That's when my brain works the best, man.
Yeah, and that's actually biologically real, right? Yeah. But I will keep saying this. Be very careful about the lawyer you select to handle your case. These people are out here scamming the public. It's sick. They know folks don't know the difference between a criminal lawyer and a personal injury lawyer or a family lawyer and a real estate lawyer. They know this and still take people's personal injury cases, knowing, in all caps, they don't know WTF they're doing. It's criminal. I don't handle criminal law or family law cases because I'm not an expert in those types of law. I will refer you to someone who does know it, though. Don't let these lawyers use you as their test subject. You only get one shot at getting the best result for your case. Make it your best shot. If you don't know if your lawyer is any good at what they say they are good at, send me a DM. There goes the love, y'all. I will tell you, it could cost you everything. And then you have your hashtags on there. So if we had to close out just for a moment of it, it sound like in that moment that you were just kind of extending to people, kind of help people not get caught up and, raked over the coals money wise and then lose the case wise or whatever. What was the meaning? Let me ask you this. I don't want to put words in your mouth. What was the meaning for this post?
I mean, it's hard, man. It's like I realized doing this type of work that people just don't know lawyers. They don't understand what we do. They just say, hey, this is a lawyer. He knows everything. And people will call me and they ask me questions about things I have absolutely no idea about. And I tell them, look, man, I don't know about divorces. I can't help you get a divorce. I don't know how to help you get custody of your child. There's general things I know, of course, because I know the court system and legal system. But if you really need, let's just say you're facing 15 years in jail, you do not want me to be your lawyer. I have friends.
Thank you for telling me. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't want me to be it. But if you called me and you said, hey, Justin, listen, man, I'm facing 15 years in jail. I'm going to direct you to the person who can help you. I will say, listen, you call this guy. Because if I was facing 15 years in jail, that's who I would call. Right. And people don't know that. And so what happens is you will have criminal lawyers who have never touched a personal injury case or a civil rights case. And they take it. And they take these cases because on a personal injury case, you get hit by a car. They can settle that case. You do some treatment. They settle that case. Elam, you get $3,000. The lawyer will get $3,000, and then they'll walk away. And they got $3,000, right? You got $3,000. It's all that same case. I can look at that case, and I might be able to get you $30,000, right? But there's no way you will know. So when they hand you a check for $3,000 and say, hey, man, we did a good result. We got you $3,000. You're happy because you got $3,000 more than you had yesterday, right? But you don't know you're supposed to have $30,000 more. Now imagine if your case is worth $10 million and you go to somebody and they get you $1 million. You have $1 million check in your hand. You're not going to ask too many questions, right? Because you have $1 million check and you probably never had $1 million check. Most people have not. So I know this. I've looked at people's cases and I say, hey, man, this case is worth $10 million, not one. And then they're like, it's too late. You've already done it. It's done. So and I don't like that, because
that would kind of hurt if I got $1 million and somebody said I could have got 10 million. That would hurt my feelings a little bit.
Yeah, most of the time you don't know. Yeah, how would you know? You get
don't
$1 million
know what you
and
don't
no one
know.
tells
You
don't know.
don't know what you
and
don't
so
know.
people will go out. You see these lawyers, they're riding around in Bentleys and Rolls Royces and all of these things, because they are basically stealing from people. You know what I mean? They're taking their case. They don't really know what they're doing, but there are some basic things you can know as a lawyer. Hey, if I call this guy and I tell him I want this much money and they offer me this, I can take it and get this guy, $1 million. Cool. Now they got you $1 million total. They got 300,000. You got 300,000. You know what I mean? You walk off into the sunset.
Right.
Really, you were supposed to have $3 million in your pocket. You know what I mean? And it's criminal. Like, they're doing this to people, and it's criminal. And I hate it for people, because I just don't like to see people get jerked. You know what I mean? I really don't.
So okay, because gosh, we can go for like the next 15, 20 minutes, but I know you got to go, and I got to run to a call too. Really quickly, if you had to give 1, 2, or 3 quick points, and maybe we might have to bring you back on at another time, because I guess I don't know whether to give the disclosure. You're not giving legal advice, but then actually you can give legal advice because you are an attorney, right? But so yeah, that's a disclosure, I guess, for somebody else. Okay, so is there like 1, 2, or 3 points that you want to share with people really quickly, of just like what to think about when you're walking down, when you have a legal situation and you're looking and you don't know anybody? I can pick up the phone and call you and like 10 other bros, or just people I know, that aren't bros, that are attorneys, and be like, listen, what do I do? And you know what I'm saying? Like, I have that. But for those that don't know, what should they do? Should they Google it? Should they, go with the commercials, the billboards? What do they do? And what are points that you want them to just keep in mind so that they don't get, I guess, screwed?
Yeah, most of the time, the commercials and the billboards are a red flag. Most of the time, not all the time. But if you see somebody who's spending all of their time and energy on a jingle or a commercial or a billboard, they're probably not spending that same amount of time and energy being a lawyer. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Most likely.
We got hella jingles. We got hella jingles out here.
Yeah. Oh man, listen, some of them are good.
I was about to say some of them. Some of them kids can quote. I've had a friend that we were on the phone, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was just we were talking about some other stuff, and then her kid was like, da, 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 saying the jingle. I was just like, dang, commercials are serious.
Yeah, man. It's serious, but it's marketing. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean they're a good lawyer. That means they're a good marketer, And so what I always say is, if it's in a personal injury setting, like if you get hit by a car, or someone in your family gets shot on an apartment complex, or gets beat up by the police, I mean, a lot of these things, the lawyer you go to, you got to ask them, listen, how many trials have you tried? Like, how many times have you gone?
No, I'm gonna write this down. Hold on, we're gonna write this down. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. How many trials have you actually had in front of a jury with this type of case? Right. So if you ask me that about a car wreck case, I would say I probably tried 50 car wreck cases. Right. And that is, and the average lawyer you ask who does car wreck cases will probably say 0 or 2. Ooh. This is what I'm saying. Okay. You got to ask them, what is the largest verdict you've ever gotten from a jury? Somebody coming back and telling you, you tried the whole case, and they say, hey, we find for the plaintiff in the amount of X, right? And I'd say, if you ask me that, I'd say the largest verdict I ever personally got was $10 million, $10.2 million. This is me. I went to court, they came back, here's the verdict. This is how much we'll give you. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yes, sir.
You ask them, you want to ask them, what is the largest settlement that you've ever received for a client, right? And you want to know.
Wait. Well, so, sir, real quickly, what is the largest verdict you got from a jury? And then what is the largest settlement? Those are 2 different things?
Correct. So a verdict you get when you go to trial. And it's like TV. You go in front of the jury and you talk and you tell them, this is my client and this is why my client's injured and it's their fault and this is how much money you should give them. and the jury comes back and they say, we'll give them this much money, right? A settlement is just, I get your case, Elam, we don't go to court. I talk to the people on the other side and whatever,
okay.
and they say, okay, we'll give Elam. I say, listen, you need to give Elam $100,000 for this. They say, we'll give Elam 20. I say, give them 60. They say, cool. You say, okay, we settle. You got $60,000. That doesn't involve any court or anything. That's a settlement, right? And you want to know, what is the largest settlement you've gotten? Because you can go to somebody, and if they do just criminal law, they might not even have settlements and verdicts. They're not going to have that kind of stuff because they don't do it. And that's the same with a criminal lawyer. If someone were to come to me and they say, listen, man, how many murder trials have you tried? And I would say 0. They need to leave my office. You see what I'm saying? Because if you got a murder.
If you murder somebody, do not call Justin Miller, everybody.
You can call me. I'm just going to refer you to someone who is good at doing murders. You see what I'm saying? And so with what I do,
you can also just not murder nobody. Then you don't have to call nobody. But go ahead.
You could do that too. You could definitely do that too. But I'm saying it sounds like common sense, but it's really not, because you'll see a lawyer riding around in a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, and you automatically think this guy has to be good at his job because he has a Rolls Royce. But that doesn't mean anything. That just means he has a Rolls Royce. He has enough money to pay a note on a Rolls Royce, right? That doesn't mean he's good at being a lawyer. And so you want somebody who's good at being a lawyer, not somebody who has enough money to pay for a Rolls Royce note. That's what you want.
So I'm going to run this back real quick. How many trials have you? So these are the questions, y'all, that y'all need to ask for those of you who don't have resources, or maybe kind of have resources, or maybe you might even be like that, but you still don't even know who to reach out to. So number one was the questions to ask to the attorney that you choose.
This is for a civil case.
For a civil case. Okay. All right. We got to go to civil. Is it criminal is next or something? Or we just got to go to that next?
Criminals after that. But civil is what I do. So,
Okay. So you do civil. Okay. So we're going to stay in this space. All right. So civil, how many trials have you had in front of a jury in front of this type of case?
Correct. Right?
Second question, what is the largest verdict you got from a jury?
Correct.
Right. And in that
those
space,
2 questions. Go ahead. Those are the main 2. Those are the main 2 questions that you want to know.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the main 2. Because think about it. You want a person that can. So first of all, if you have jury verdicts from cases, then the insurance company and the people you're going against, they're going to be scared of you. They will pay you more money. So Elam, if me and you are lawyers and we get the same client, and they know you haven't tried any cases and you're not good at that, and that's not what you do, and they know I try cases and I'm good at that, and I will go to court and get in it. You know what I mean? I'll rip them a new one. Mm-hmm. They're going to be scared of me, so they might pay you $50,000 where they pay me $250,000. So if we have the same client, you with that client is going to get less money. Me with that client, I'm going to get more money for that same client. So it matters. You know what I mean? It matters.
Right. It does. No. Okay. And I guess the hyphen A to that, but it is a totally separate question. The third question is, so what is the largest settlement that you've received? So the verdict versus the settlement, those are 2 different questions.
Correct. And so that question is a little trickier, because let's just say you get a good case where whatever, there are good cases where somebody will settle that case and give a person, 10, 15, $20 million, and they're not that good of a lawyer, but the case is a great case, right?
Okay.
So that is the third question, because that is misleading sometimes, because if you have a great case, it doesn't matter who it is. My son could get you $10, $20 million, and he's 11, because it's the case, it's not the lawyer. But if you're in court, you have to know how to prepare that case, how to try that case, how to talk to a jury, how to take depositions, how to finesse the defense side to make them do what you need them to do. You got to know all these things. And these guys and girls do not know. And they know people don't know that they don't know, and they feed off of that. And it's horrible.
Listen, man. These we're gonna have to bring you back as a guest in the future, man, because you're dropping some gems, and this is an area that where you can just offer just some guidance in this area with the things that happen in these streets that we're just ignorant of. I mean, I consider myself college educated, masters and all that, but I'm super ignorant in this area, right?
Yeah.
And so
Most people are.
I gained something tonight from this. So that's why we're definitely, and I appreciate you just even reaching out to the community, even with just that post, 10 a.m. in the morning, you're thinking about us, right? And so you just put that out there. And I wanted to, honestly, when I saw that, I said, I want to magnify that just for my audience of just, sharing that information. And like you said, we're all connected. So it was impossible for me not to just connect you to the listeners that are here. So thank you so much for just the information that you shared. Where can people follow you? Your firm. Where can they holler at y'all, call you, get at you, civil, all that stuff? Where can people follow up with you
on? The easiest way is my Instagram, which is also my Twitter and my TikTok and all of that. It's same thing. J Miller ESQ at J Miller ESQ, and people can send me a DM and I respond to everything. So people ask
you take DMs
all day. I mean,
okay,
it might take me some days sometimes, but I always answer. I mean, if it's about something worthy, I answer. Sometimes it's some mess, but if it's something real, I always answer, bro. I always answer because I just feel like it's my duty. You know what I mean? Like people don't know, and I'm telling people, listen, you don't know, and so I can't be a person tell you don't know, and then I won't help you find the information. So people DM me, I tell them, and it doesn't always. The answer is not always come to me, give me your case, I can help you.
Right.
That ain't always the answer. It's not even most of the time the answer. I would say that's probably the answer 30% of the time. The other percentage of the time, it is me referring somebody to somebody else or telling somebody, hey, listen, right now you don't need to do X, Y, and Z. Right now, just do this and then wait and then come back and blah, blah, blah. But I'm always down to help people, man. And if you get people, and if you ever talk to anybody and they just have a question, it's hard for me sometimes to cut off the time to get on the phone, right? But I can always answer a DM and I'll always answer an email and I'll always answer a text. And then if it's super important and it's too in-depth, then we'll talk on the phone. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, he probably only going to be like that for maybe another year or two. Then he probably just going to be too big. You know what I'm saying? nah.
But get somebody. Hey, I would get somebody to do it. We got to do it.
And that's the love that knowing you, that's the love that you just like, if you can't connect to the people, you're going to make sure that they're connected to. And that's the real. And so even myself. So this is the Understanding a Man podcast. I want to thank you so much, Justin, for just coming on here. We're going to have you back. I got to run. I know you got to run. You got a long night ahead of you or whatever. Thank you so much. Any parting words as we close out?
Yeah, man. I would just say this. People, we need to understand that, like you said, and like I said, we're all together. We're all a web. We are not separate. If I come up, that doesn't mean that I'm bringing someone else down. If you come up, that doesn't mean someone else has to stay down. I believe that a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So and when I say we, like I said in the very beginning, I am a Black man first, and that is the way the world sees me. So I'm going to take care of us first. However, we are all in this together, all of us, Black, white, and every other race. And so when we really get it together, that's when we all will be together. But, first and foremost, I got to take care of my people, because you know how you said that there are people, they don't know a lawyer and this and that, right? There are way more of us that don't know lawyers. A lot of white people, different folks, they know lawyers. They have lawyers in their family. Their cousin's a lawyer, their dad's a lawyer. But us, we don't really have that much. So I like to be that person for as many people as I can be. You know what I mean?
That's strong.
And so, I tell all my friends who are lawyers, I will promote their business on my page. I'll say, listen, this guy's good. Go to him. They can do the same thing I do. It don't matter to me. That's what I'm saying. The money, being a money grubbing little whatever, is never good. Share the wealth. You know what I mean? We got to share the wealth. There's enough out here for everyone to come up and succeed and help each other. That's the word.
I love it. All right. And join us on the next Understanding a Man podcast. And you guys will see Justin back on here. Thank you so much again, Justin Miller, for just being on here. Keep, representing us out here. Keep fighting for us out here. Really appreciate it. I love seeing you on the screen, man. And it's unfortunate that I see you there, but I'm glad you're there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It makes I shouldn't have to be there. That's the point. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when you want to talk about relationship stuff, I got a bunch of ideas about that, my friend.
We got part 2. We got part 2, sir. Hey, listen. Maybe I need to be at the bar at the bar spots, man. We might need to. Hey, I know the owner.
Do the podcast from there. You know 2 of them.
Dude, that's what's up.
Yeah, do the podcast. You know who my partner is, right?
Hold on, I just hit.